Like two golden birds perched on the selfsame tree, intimate friends, the ego and the self, they dwell in the same body. The former eats the sweet and sour fruits of the tree of life, while the latter looks on in detachment. This is a quote from the Mundaka Upanishad. We're talking today about the law of detachment. We are in the Spiritual Laws of Success by Deepak Chopra. This is chapter 6. We've got one more chapter to go. This is a great chapter. You're going to learn a lot here, as I did. Detachment really is something that we're not taught on the spiritual journey. It's one of the revelations that come to you that, this is something that is a critical part of your spiritual growth. And if you're like me, this is something that was not taught if you came up in religion. We are really attached, particularly in the Western world, to a lot of things, people, for our security. So today we're going to talk about the law of success and talk about how we can apply it to our lives to produce the types of realities that we desire. So let's get started. Now, as I said, the sixth law of spiritual success is that of detachment. The law of detachment says, in order to acquire anything in the physical universe, you have to relinquish your attachment to it. And as I go through this, I want you to begin to just sort of relinquish what you think you know, because your conscious mind, if you did come up in the West, and if you are finding, this concept difficult, it is different, and it is difficult because we're never taught this. So I want you to kind of forget what you think you know and just embrace just the new information. And once we get through, if you decide, hey, this is not for me, then you just move on. But I think what you will decide is this is a concept that I need to look further into and apply to my life to get the types of benefits, that I'm looking for. Perhaps this is part of my problem. Or I shouldn't say problem. This is part of a solution to some things that I'd like to bring about. So let's keep going. Again, if you want to acquire anything in this physical universe, you have to relinquish the attachment to it. So what does that mean? Well, what it doesn't mean is that you have to give up your intention to create what you desire. So that's number one. You don't have to give up your intention to create the things that you desire to manifest. You don't have to give up your intention, and you don't have to give up your desire. You give up your attachment to the result. This is very powerful. The moment that you relinquish your attachment to the result, combining your one-pointed attention and intention with detachment at the same time, you'll have the thing that you desire. Detachment is based on the unquestioning belief in the power of your true self. On this channel, we are always talking about how to be your true higher self. This is the real value in detachment. So you say you have a thing that you desire. That thing that we've built, that blueprint we've talked about so many times on this channel in our minds, whether it's the relationship, the weight loss, the career, the entrepreneurship, the home, whatever it is. You built it in your mind, you're visiting it every day, and you're living in the end, as Neville Goddard has said. Well, all that is fine. What Deepak is saying here is detachment is relinquishing the way that it's going to come to you. So many times we build up doubt, or at least I know I've been guilty of this. We built up doubt because we try to navigate to the end. Well, it becomes problematic because we can't figure it out. And it's not for us to figure out. Our work, if we're going to say it that way, is simply to believe that it's done. Like Neville said, just generate the feeling of the wish fulfilled. Use that great human imagination, that connectivity to your source, to your God, and just feel that it's already done. The detachment is just saying, listen, I don't really know how this is going to be done. And I don't want to get into that mental gymnastics of figuring it out because I'm going to create doubt. So let me just have faith in my source, in my God, in the oneness, in the universe, that it's just done. And I'm just going to leave it there. And I'm going to visit it every day. I'm going to see it done. And then eventually it will come into my reality. So that's really, in layman's terms, detachment. Well, what is attachment? Attachment, on the other hand, is based on fear and insecurity. And the need for security is based on not knowing your true self. The source of wealth, of abundance, of anything in the physical world is the self. It is the consciousness that knows how to fulfill your every need. Everything else is a symbol. For example, cars, houses, banknotes, clothes, airplanes, etc. And these symbols are all transitory. They're going to come and go. Chasing symbols is like settling for the map instead of the territory. It creates anxiety. I know that to be true in my own personal life. And of course, we want to live a life that is a whole from a physical standpoint and also from a mental standpoint. And having something that you fear you're going to lose is just part of that. So yeah, let's say, for example, you gain a lot of money. But if you're always in fear that someone's going to take it from you, you're going to lose it, you're not really at peace. So this method is saying, let's get everything we want, and then let's feel good about having it. And never have the insecurity or the doubt that it's going to go away, because you can always reproduce it. Again, chasing symbols is like selling for the map instead of the territory. It creates anxiety. We don't want that. It ends up making us feel hollow and empty inside, because you exchange yourself for that symbol of yourself. Attachment comes from poverty consciousness. Poverty consciousness, because attachment is always to symbols. Detachment, however, is synonymous with wealth consciousness, because with detachment, there's freedom to create. You're not worried about how it's going to come, if it's going to stay, if someone can take it. These sorts of concepts don't exist within detachment, because you've turned all that over to your higher self. Now, people are constantly seeking security, and you will find that seeking security is actually a very ephemeral thing. It's going to come and go. Even attachment to money is a sign of insecurity. Well, you may say, I have X million dollars, and then I'll be secure, I'll be financially independent, I'll be able to retire. Then I'll do all the things that I really want to do, but in truth, it never really happens. It never really happens that way. We think that, but that's not how it happens. Attachment to money will always create insecurity, no matter how much money you have in the bank. In ancient wisdom traditions, the solution to this whole dilemma lies in the wisdom of insecurity, or the wisdom of uncertainty. This means that search for security and certainty is actually an attachment to the known. And what is the known? It's our past. The known is nothing more than the prison of past conditioning. Uncertainty, however, on the other hand, is the fertile ground of pure creativity and freedom. And this is the part you got to hold on to your seats if if it just is not, your conscious mind is fighting you a little bit here. So you're saying that I need to live in an area of uncertainty. Yes. So you're saying I need to detach my need for money and for cars and these sorts of symbols. Yes. Because what that's going to create in the end is not really what you want or what you say you want. And so detachment is going to get us where we want to be. And uncertainty, we're not taught this, but the uncertainty of how things will work out, not if they're going to work out. Separate the two, how they're going to work out. Let's say, for example, you're used to driving. You have a family of 4, you and your wife and your kids, or your partner and your kids, and you're going to grandma's house. Well, you normally drive and you normally take a certain route, and you're comfortable with that. Okay, great. Well, today you're the passenger and your partner's driving, and they want to take a different route. Now, you're going to get to grandma's house. You're just going a different route. Relinquishing your attachment to the route is essential to you enjoying the ride. If you're so attached to a certain path to grandma's house, you can't enjoy the fact that your family's in the car and you guys are talking, enjoying conversation, because you're paying so much attention to the route. I mean, it's a simple example, but this is what life is about. So when you have your desire, your intention, you turn it over to the higher power, to your higher self. and you connect with the universal sources that are bringing these events and circumstances and people and resources into place to make it happen. Well, you can't orchestrate what the universe is doing. Otherwise, you could do it yourself. So relinquishing, detachment are synonymous. And that's what we're talking about here. Now, the unknown is the field of all possibilities. That's the good news. The unknown. What you know has already occurred. There's nothing that you know. What you know has already occurred. And for the most part, we're trying to create new and better events in our existence. So what we've known has not really produced that yet. So we don't want to keep pulling that into the present. So the unknown is the field of all possibilities. The ever fresh, ever new, always open to the creation of new manifestations. Relinquish your attachment to the known. Step into the unknown. Challenge yourself. Step into the unknown. And then you'll step into the field of all possibilities. In your willingness to step into the unknown, you'll have the wisdom of uncertainty factored in. And what this means is in every moment of your life, you'll have excitement, adventure, mystery, etc. And you'll experience the fun of life, the magic, the celebration, the exhilaration, and the unknown, the growth of your spirit. Every day, you can look for the excitement of what may occur in the field of possibilities. You do this because you have faith overall that your source, your God, universe is going to take care of things anyway. One characteristic of the field of all possibilities is infinite correlation. This field can orchestrate an infinity of space-time events to bring about the outcome that is intended. So, for example, you want the entrepreneurship. We gave an example before about, starting our own lumber company, and that's where you're going to end up. That's where your blueprint is in your mind. And in your quiet time, you visit your plant, you see your workers, you see your lumber, and you see trucks coming and going, deliveries and orders. Well, how do you get there from your corporate job, which, by the way, has nothing to do with lumber? Well, if you try to work it out in your mind, it's going to create a lot of doubt, a lot of anxiety, and you're going to have hundreds of reasons why this is not going to work. However, if you turn it over to universal forces and detach from how and just know that it will, then you allow the universe an infinite number of possibilities exist, and it just plucks one and begins to put the wheels in motion. And your only work, if we're going to call it that, is just to believe that this is done. This is done. Now, the law of detachment does not interfere with the law of intention and desire. That's goal setting. You still have the intention of going in a certain direction, and you can still create a goal. However, between point A and point B, as we said, there are infinite possibilities. With uncertainty factored in, you might change direction at any moment to find a higher ideal, or if you find something more exciting. And when you understand this law, you don't have to feel compelled to force solutions, to do things that are outside of your character just so you can get the resources or the money or whatever the case may be, which we know a lot of people do. When you force solutions on problems, you really create more problems. Like we said before, you don't want to, work so hard to get that vice president role in your company, and then all of a sudden you're at work so much that you're in jeopardy of losing your relationship or your family. That's counterproductive. So how do we make them both happen where we're well-roundedly happy? Every single problem that you have in your life is the seed of an opportunity for some greater benefit. And this spoke to me more, and I hope it speaks to you, because we're all in a growth stage, and growth comes in the form of contrast, like Abraham says. Growth will come in the form of contrast. In other words, what will appear to be problems, we in the spiritual realm see them as opportunities. You can see them as obstacles or problems, but really they are there for our growth. So every single problem that you have in your life is a seed. It's an opportunity for some greater benefit. Once you have this perception, you got to really change the way you see these things. You got to change the way that you see flat tires and and your financial situation or relationship situation. Change the way that you see it and allow those situations to speak to you on a higher level and try to understand what they're trying to tell you. Open up to a whole range of possibilities. If you can see this in that perception, you can open up to a whole range of possibilities. And this keeps the mystery, the wonder, the excitement, and the adventure alive. Now, when your preparedness meets opportunity, the solution will spontaneously appear. You're prepared, the opportunity comes, and bam, there's a solution. What comes out of this is often called good luck, but you and I both know good luck is nothing but preparedness and opportunity coming together. We're prepared, we know the opportunity is coming, we're looking for it, we take advantage of it when it comes. When the two are mixed together with an alert witnessing of the chaos, a solution emerges that will be evolutionary. It'll be beneficial to you and to all those who come in contact with you. Because ultimately, our lives are not just for us. Our lives are for those who are around us. And what we're doing is we're not really doing for us. We're doing for the benefit of those around us. This is the perfect recipe for success, and it is all based on the law of detachment. So, question, Kelly, how do we apply the law of detachment? So let's do this today. Say to yourself, I'll commit myself to detachment. I'll allow myself and those around me the freedom to be as they are. I will not rigidly impose my idea of how things should be. That's a tough one. You got to keep saying that to yourself. I know I do. You were raised a certain way, in a certain faith, in a certain belief, a certain understanding of certain things, be it political, religious, or otherwise. You have ethics and morals, and sometimes when people go against those things, you war against it. And if you have children, you probably are trying to raise them the way that your parents raised you or in some like fashion. And all of our children are individuals, and sometimes it's difficult to allow them the freedom of expressing themselves when it challenges what your core beliefs are. So, you must say to yourself, I'll not rigidly impose my idea of how things should be. I'll not force solutions or problems. Or I'll not force solution on problems, therefore creating new problems. I'll participate in everything with detached involvement. Secondly, today I will factor in uncertainty as an essential ingredient of my experience. In my willingness to accept uncertainty, I expect solutions will spontaneously emerge out of the problem, out of the confusion, out of the disorder, and out of the chaos. And the more uncertain things seem to be, the more secure I will feel. You have to keep saying that one. The more uncertain things seem to be, the more secure I will feel, because uncertainty is my path to freedom. Through the wisdom of uncertainty, I will find my security. And lastly, I'll step into the field of all possibilities, and I'll anticipate the excitement that can occur when I remain open. I'm open to an infinity of choices. When I step into the field of possibilities, I will experience all the fun, the adventure, the magic, and the mystery of life. Guys, thanks for joining me today. If you have any questions or comments, please leave them in the comment field below. In the description of the video, I've listed and left for you a free book. This is from our channel to you. We always want to encourage folks to live a happy and well-rounded life. And part of that, one of the biggest parts of that, is a meditation practice. So if you are unaware of meditation, maybe you've been meditating for a while, you just want to understand it more, got a free book. It's a download. All you have to do is stick your email address in there and it'll be in your inbox ASAP. So please take the time to do that. Thanks for listening. If you haven't subscribed, please do so, and we will see you soon.